Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be, wherever you are. Welcome to the Harley Carnes podcast. Harley on the headlines. You know, it is just what it sounds like. It's, hey, me talking about the headlines with you. Briefly, it's just a common sense take on whatever's going on. I appreciate not having to do it alone, too, which is to say thank you very much, really, for being there. Liking, following, subscribing, all are really excellent ideas for getting more folks into this little neighborhood gathering. Tell somebody about it. I have to tell you, this was one of the most uplifting sights ever. The joy that filled the faces of people who are feeling, really for the first time in their lives, what freedom feels like. I'm talking about people from Iran, people in Iran, people here who have literally danced in streets of the world cities, tears streaming down their faces, because the radical caliphate of the Ayatollahs is being dismantled. The Ayatollah in charge, Khamenei, is dead. So are dozens of his cohorts at the top of that evil government. The people are rejoicing. When Iranian histories are written, now here's a truth. Donald Trump's name will be written bold as one of the heroes of freedom in Iran. We don't know what the next form of government is going to take. But if it is of and by, and hopefully for the people, Trump's name will rank with Lafayette in history books in Iran. Now, that may rankle his political enemies, but Lafayette supported the upstart colonies of the New World at the time without blanket support for doing it as well. In New York City, America's world city, because of its reach and financial influence, where thousands, tens of thousands of Iranians, many of whom have never seen their homeland, walked arm in arm down the streets in total peace, rank after rank after rank of beautiful young Iranian American women who could never have gone home, had tears in their faces and joy lighting them. It was moving. When you could see, for what had to be the first time on a New York City street, the old Iranian flag, the American flag, and the Israeli flag being proudly carried side by side together by people with hope. Like I said, it was moving. Now, the war's not over. As Secretary of State Marco Rubio made clear, the job of the U.S. and Israeli military effort is to make sure that Iran cannot essentially ever threaten anyone with missiles and drones again. Not nuclear missiles, not conventional high explosive missiles or drones that are automated bombs. He said to be unable to threaten anyone. Yes, to protect the U.S. and Israel, but also all of Iran's Arab neighbors that the Revolutionary Guard forces have been attacking. That military force is still radical and still strong enough to make a lot of noise, and they have been. Drones have hit the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia. Diplomatic staff in Bahrain have been evacuated for the time being. Americans are being urged to get the heck out of Dodge, at least for the time being, you know? And the biggest thing that Iran has managed to do, at least temporarily, is close down the narrow Strait of Hormuz, through which about 20% of the world's oil moves every day, 13 million barrels. It's hugely important, and it makes people nervous. Now, what's going to happen next there is simple enough. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard has guaranteed now that it will no longer have a navy. U.S. and Israeli ships and planes, mostly U.S., have already destroyed or sunk about half of the Iranian Navy. They're going to have to take out the rest of them now. Trying to plug up the strait is a sign of a last-ditch desperation effort by Iran. If sinking their ships plugs up the strait, it'll be expensive because it is narrow and clearing the debris will take time. You know, I have a feeling I'm going to be saying those words again soon. Clearing the debris will take some time. Not to be helped, however. Now, here's what's also true. You can be fairly sure that oil prices and gasoline and diesel prices are going to go up right away for a while, even though, in fact, nothing should happen to U.S. prices since we are very famously oil independent from the rest of the world. We produce more than all the oil and natural gas that we need here. Still, if the world trade in oil goes up in price, it'll affect us at the pump, though not as harshly. What it should not do is create any shortages of oil products or natural gas products here. If it does, you should demand answers. Bill and Hillary Clinton's little movies are, or will soon be available. They are out there, think about it. The videos of them testifying for about 4.5 hours at the House Oversight Committee hearing. They didn't want to, tried to get out of it, but James Comer and company made it clear if they didn't obey the subpoena, federal police with handcuffs would be sent to get them, so they came. It's pretty interesting. I mean, hours of Hillary saying, I know nothing. I know nothing. I know nothing. Okay. Hours of Bill saying, no sex, no chicanery, no knowledge of anything wrong or distasteful, nothing criminal. You should go to YouTube and watch it. It's there. Hopefully, Bill Clinton's declarations of innocence are true and reassuring. Hopefully, as the details of the Epstein files and more videos, say, like the new one of Bill swimming in a big hot tub with an unknown young woman, are released, there won't be anything that makes us disbelieve his testimony. Hopefully. You don't need to be a meteorologist to know the answer to this. All you need is to have lived a few years and paid attention. What comes to the Midwest and other places after storms pile the snow high? Answer, the snow melts and the water is too much for the rivers and streams, and the result is flooding in the flatlands and in the valleys. It's coming, that's all. Couple that with the forecast of multiple big rainstorms and thunderstorm systems from Texas to the Ohio Valley and up into the Northeast. It's a natural dynamic. Warm, moist air from the south collides with the cold air of the north and Midwest, and you get a lot more water. That hastens the snow melt, and bango, spring floods. Two things about that. It's good in some ways, because apart from the flood areas, it'll help alleviate some of those that have not had enough rain. And when it's all done, the water leaves behind some of the most rich and fertile ground on the planet. A spectacular painting by Rembrandt, Vision of Zacharias in the Temple, has been studied and verified in the Netherlands. Now, why does this matter? That painting is truly beautiful. It's rich in its color and detail, and there's a story. The painting was sold to a private collector in 1960 and disappeared from public view or even knowledge, the way paintings often do. It disappeared into the mists of private ownership. No one knew where it went. Well, the current owner sent an email to the Rijksmuseum director in the Netherlands and asked to have the painting studied and authenticated if possible. It's not an unusual thing. It happens a lot. The owner thought it was a Rembrandt, but who knew for sure? You know how the world is. The museum's experts spent 2 years studying and testing that painting and have just come in with the verdict. It is authentic. It is a Rembrandt. The signature is his. The wooden frame that holds the canvas is correct. It is for sure worth millions of dollars, should the owner ever decide to sell it. Now, it has a dark background with the focal point, Zacharias, who seems illuminated by an ethereal light. Just stunning. The archangel Gabriel is telling Zacharias that he and his wife are going to have a son, even though his wife is beyond childbearing age. That son became John the Baptist. Now, at the time he painted it, Rembrandt was 27 years old, early in his career, when, for the most part, at that time, he made his living painting portraits. A lot of the greats did. Art experts say you can tell when Rembrandt was painting to make a living, as he did by painting portraits of the wealthy, because he clearly worked quickly. You can also tell, they say, when he put his heart and soul into a work like this one. And this is one of those early, deep, soul-stirring works that made his fame immortal. Very cool stuff. Now, not that anyone cares, but after boycotting the event in the past, President Trump says he will attend the always political White House Correspondents' Dinner. That dinner was once a very good-natured evening in which the liberal media and the sometimes conservative president, or of course the media darling president, could trade jokes and jabs in fun while eating and dining and having some fun. When it came to Trump, the media's coverage of him over the years has rankled him so much, and statisticians who track it say in the legacy media, coverage of Trump has been so strikingly one-sided and critical. Trump decided, why would I honor their dinner by attending? And so he refused to attend. Maybe the media barbs will be more good-natured this year. It happens on April 25th. We'll find out. The tradition of that dinner, by the way, started in 1924 with Calvin Coolidge. This time, during the nation's 250th birthday year, the president decided, okay, I'll go to the party. Speaking of the 250th American birthday, IndyCar has announced, and President Trump has signed the order to allow Indy cars to blast along in a race in Washington, D.C. Don't know if you heard about this a little while back. I just thought it was cool, so I'll talk about it. Part of the road course will be on Pennsylvania Avenue. The route will include the National Mall, zip around the traffic circle at the Lincoln Memorial, blast down Constitution Avenue and a bit of Pennsylvania to the half circle there at the Capitol, then back down Independence Avenue. Or maybe they'll go the other way. I don't know which direction they're going. Anyway, the streets of Washington in that part of town, you've been there, are wide and in excellent shape. And since the parks and the monuments abound, there should be plenty of room for 1 million people in that huge park area to watch those little cars scream past. Now, it'll be an absolute security preparation nightmare for Capitol Police and the Secret Police or Secret Service. Incredibly exciting for the fans, though. Ticket prices to the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. What ticket prices? That event's going to be free to the public in August. Just another part of the 250th annual or national birthday celebration. I think I want to go. Thank you. Thanks for joining today for Harley on the Headlines. I hope there's something worthwhile in a collection of stories, and I hope you'll help put out the word. Maybe more people will join in. That'd be nice. Like, follow, subscribe, send some emails. I'd sure appreciate it. In the meantime, I am Harley Carnes. We'll talk again real soon. Till then, do yourself a real favor. Make some good decisions in your life today. Be happy. That's a choice. And fly safe, please. It is the only way to get there.